When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like aloe or Skims, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. With Shop Pay, that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts are going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell whatever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Chicago Tomahawk. We just happened to be getting ready to start our podcast, and we found out that the Blackhawks traded Seth Jones and a 2026 fourth-round pick for Spencer Knight and a 2026 first-round pick. The Blackhawks retain $2.5 million on Jones for the next 5 seasons, which is nothing. Pick slides to 2027 if Florida doesn't have a 2026 pick. Man, I'll be honest with you, man. Kyle Davidson has been taking a shellacking on social media. There have been a lot of people attacking him, getting after him, man. And the Blackhawks have to feel the heat, man. I can't imagine how many people tag the Blackhawks saying how much they hate Jimmy Faulkner, how much they hate, Kyle Davidson and how he's doing nothing for the team and how bad the team is. And he has to make a big splash. And a lot of people are saying that big splash has to be Mitch Marner or Mikko Rantanen. And we can get into that later because I don't think that Mikko Rantanen is a good choice for that. But I was thinking that he may need to pull off a trade. We have tons of assets, and we have some players that I think that he's playing, like Wyatt Kaiser, Anthony Athanasiou, trying to get them out there before the trade deadline to see if people can maybe want to make a trade and pick them up. I've heard that Davidson is not he wasn't looking for future considerations. He's looking for young players that can kind of come in now. But this trade for Spencer Knight is freaking huge because on one end, you're looking at Spencer Knight, and you have a goalie that has been sitting behind Bobrovsky for the past few years. He's been very good. As a matter of fact, he could probably been a starter somewhere else as of right now. And he hasn't been, and he's just been sitting behind Bobrovsky. He had to take some time off last year and go into the players thing where they can kind of, for mental health issues. He left. He's back. And the Blackhawks have Seth Jones, who they're essentially paying $9 million a year for. And as of recently, he requested a trade from the Blackhawks so that he can go to a contender. I get it. When he came to the Blackhawks, he thought that he was being sold a bag of goods by Stan Bowman, saying, "Hey, man, we are putting everything we can back together to make one last cup run with Taves and Kane while we can." And that's what Seth Jones was sold on. Obviously, that did not happen. And Seth Jones essentially, after going from the Panthers, who was always a team that wasn't destined for the Stanley Cup Finals, to the Columbus, who was barely destined for the playoffs, to the Blackhawks, who were a rebuilding team that had no hope of the playoffs. So it seems like his chances for the playoffs went from bad to worse to as worse as it gets his whole career, and he's looking to play some playoff hockey. The Blackhawks get a bona fide number one, not to take anything away from Soderblom, because I think that Soderblom has honestly been growing into that role, but Not sure if he could take that workload. Now that we've got Spencer Knight and Soderblom, man, as a clear number one, number two, that clears up room for Comesso to essentially spend some time down in Rockford and get his game together. How do you feel about that, Matt?
Well, first, what in the words of Harry Dunn for Kyle Davidson, and totally redeem yourself because that was a great trade. Seth Jones, they're getting him for what, $7 million per season?
Yeah, I think it's
something $7.
Yeah.
We're paying $2 million.
Yeah,
we thought it would be more. People were saying let's retain half. That's how desperate they were. That was a win right there. It sucks giving up a first round pick, but the draft class, we're being told it's weaker. And dude, we've talked about this.
We have
in the past. There's a goalie in Florida sitting behind a $10 million man that's kind of rotting away in a way. I mean, I'm glad he's going to get a chance here. And we've said this, like, this is a guy you should go after with a young building team. This is a goalie that's, I believe he's 12-8 this year, 2.4 goals against. So he's not playing a lot because, Bob had like a resurgence when he won that cup. But this is a big deal for the Hawks. They got a number one guy. This kid is a stud. He is. Dale Talon picked this guy. He believed in him. Dale Talon doesn't miss much.
No, he doesn't. He
doesn't miss much. So I'm excited about this. I remember talking to a couple guys on Twitter about this. The goalie guy, Puck and Hostile. Me and him used to go back and talk. Hey, what about Spencer Knight? And we were both, this guy's good. I haven't seen his page, but I'm sure he's happy about it.
I'm sure he is too.
So, now, what do you think? You can move on from Mrazek. Somebody might want him as a good, solid veteran backup for a playoff run.
I kind of feel bad for him, man. He's been standing on his head for 2 fucking years, and like now.
This year he hasn't, though.
Yeah, this year, yeah.
Yeah, and the whole team's they're garbage. This team is just. I feel like what are we on a 4-game skid right now?
Yeah.
We're showing up late to games. The coach is scratching young guys for old guys, and it's just not making sense. So getting a goalie is huge, and this is also appealing for a coach that we're going to hire. Hey, you got a stud in net. You got a stud up in front. You got a lot of studs on the back end. Yeah. So it's exciting. It really is. Like, I feel good to be a Hawks fan today after this trade.
Dude, it's been a bad week. It's been a bad week for the Blackhawks. Continual losses, benching Lucas Reichel, and Pat Maroon and Craig Smith are still playing. More importantly, Kurashev is still playing, who I don't think should have a roster spot right now. I'm sure they must be actively trying to move him, but I don't think that they're going to be able to. Just continual losses. They actually came back. They were down 5-1 at the end of the first period against Vegas the other night. They were getting torched, and then they came back and they ended up losing 7-5. It was an empty net goal to make it 7-5 because it's really 6-5, and they've got, at least they're fighting, man. They're still fighting. And I think it's the young guys. I think the young guys are like, hey, man, let's put this together. We've got Foligno, who's hurt now, who opens up a roster spot. Seth Jones is hurt. That opens up a roster spot. What do we do? Can we bring up Korchinski now and say, okay, kid, it's time to play, man?
I think you have to.
He was the NBA, the AHL All-Star MVP. He's too good for the AHL. And this is what people don't understand. They think that, let him go down to the AHL and play a while so that he can get better. You don't understand. This kid is too good for the AHL. But he might not be 100% ready for the NHL. The problem is the schism between the NHL and the AHL isn't this. It's like this. It's huge. It's huge from the talent that you have in the AHL from the NHL. And Korchinski is probably somewhere right in the middle. He needs more he needs better competition than he is in the AHL, but the NHL is a completely different monster. And since he's too good for the AHL, let's bring him up to the big team and let him start playing. We need to stop scratching Nolan and sending him down to the AHL because he's NHL ready. And he has proved it by being a great player for us, number one. Number two, I think he's got the second most points for rookie defenders in the NHL this year among rookies. So why the hell are
With
they sending this
games.
kid down while playing Brody? That doesn't make any sense.
Yep. Ideally, I'd like to see Korch, Vlasic, Crevier, Allen as a top 4 in the future. I really like this.
Del Maestro has made a pretty solid.
We have solid defensive prospects.
We do, man.
It's a good problem.
He has made a solid name for himself, and I think that he deserves the opportunity. Hey, you know what? Ben Pope posted about Connor Murphy on his positive attitude, and you know what? I appreciate that. He's a great guy. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. But you know what? It's time for us to move on. I'm happy that he's a great guy, man. But you know what? You're not cutting it at the NHL level anymore. And at least for the Blackhawks, for a team that's looking to change, we have prospects ready to come up. You know, he's taking up a roster spot now. I wish him the best. And I hope that he can go somewhere else where he could be appreciated more. But it's time to move on from the guy, man. It is.
It's been time for 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've got Arty Leveshinov, who's going to possibly be ready for the NHL by next season. So it's going to start getting crowded on the blue line with prospects. It's already crowded.
That's a great problem to have. And now you got a solid 1A goalie, and Soderblom potentially could be a 1B.
Yes.
And I love having if I'm a player on this team and I have Soderblom in net, I am feeling more confident than I am with Mrazek. Ever since that injury return, him and Jones came back that same day, he hasn't been the same goalie.
Both of them.
Yeah, he hasn't been the same goalie. But, yeah, man, great night. I mean, I saw the picture. Actually, a buddy texted me, and I'm like, I got to text Mike. I got to text the Lion ASAP. This is huge news. This is very, that last trade with Taylor Hall and retaining all that money for a superstar that's not even playing here, it hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, what you look from the outside like, what the hell are these guys thinking? But getting Spencer Knight, I'm pumped. I've been a fan. He saved that team. Yeah, I have too. He saved that team from Tampa in the playoffs, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago.
Sure.
He stepped up big for those guys, and he kept them alive. And I don't think they won the series, but he got them a win. And I've seen him play in the playoffs. I like his game.
Yeah, I do too.
Of course, we got to play better in front of him. It's going to be a different scenario, but this is solid. Getting a guy, it's hard for goalies to find a goalie that's gets drafted and 18 years old and ready to take the net. You don't see too many. I think the last guy was probably that Carter Hart from Philly, and he's had some issues and he's not playing anymore. But before that, Carey Price, there's goalies take time. It's crazy. Yeah, so
they do.
This kid's ready to rock, and I think he was ready to rock for a while, but
at least 2 years.
He's locked up, and Florida's like, no, we want this kid. He's good. But Dale gave Bobrovsky a $10 million long-term deal, but it's benefited them. They got a cup. They got their first cup, and he's still a good goalie. So I think it's a good move for the Panthers. They're getting a Seth Jones. Seth Jones is not a bad defenseman. That the salary is bad, but they're getting him for $7 million. They got some injury problems. They need help.
They need a right-handed shot.
Ekblad is a free agent. Maybe they're going to be moving on from him, and obviously they might have to move on from him now.
Do you think that's somewhere? Do you think the Hawks should maybe try
That'd be pretty interesting. It's just the ages of UFAs. They make me nervous.
They do.
And these guys want to get paid. I don't like the long-term max 7-year deal for a UFA. I hate him.
Especially for a 29-year-old, a 28-year-old.
And
even a 27-year-old.
He's had some serious injuries. I think some serious leg injuries.
Okay, well,
broken
that's not
legs
good.
and stuff like that. But he's a good defenseman. But like what we talked about before, our defensive prospects were solid. And you sign a guy like that, you're pushing a kid out of the way. Unless it's a guy, if he's taking over for Connor Murphy, that's different. But I don't want to see a kid get pushed out for a guy like Ekblad and at $7-8 million a year for 7 years. I don't like that. I think the Hawks should avoid any deal longer than 5 years unless it's like a Connor McDavid-like guy. It's just
unless they're 24 years old. I would give a 7-year contract to a 24-year-old, but a 29-year-old, 28-year-old who's in the middle of their prime, no way.
So I don't know if the offer sheet is still going to be a thing because we traded our first round pick for next year.
Yeah.
There was rumor we were interested in Wyatt Johnson from Dallas.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Dallas is going to figure that out. The kid's a stud. But we're talking about Mitch and Mikko. People are so crazy about Marner. Like, he doesn't show up in the big games. I don't know what game they watched. USA, Marner was pretty good that game. Rantanen has been a ghost.
Yeah, he's been a ghost.
Yeah.
I don't think that we need any more smaller, shifty type of players. I think we need more like Brady Tkachuk type of players. And we need like
they don't
three
grow
of
on
them.
trees, though. That's
they
the problem.
Don't, man.
Yeah.
Well, just really quickly, I wanted to mention that we've got Sam Rinzel, who's going to be NHL ready, and he's a freaking stud, too.
60-something goals, right?
No, that's Nick Lardis.
Oh, Lardis. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're talking about the guy from Minnesota, right?
Yeah, I was talking about the defensive prospect that we've got. He's going to be he's a stud. He's going to probably need a year or two, probably just a year in Rockford. But the defense, man, is looking freaking good, man.
I like the defense. I like where we're at. And I think if you look at it, they're a little bit ahead of schedule, the defensive guys.
Yeah.
Crevier has been a very solid surprise. I like him, and I like his size.
He's got a hard shot, too.
I like that. And like you said, I think Korch, maybe now's the time.
Yeah.
Now's the time. You need a good puck mover, and I don't really consider any of these other guys solid puck movers like Korch.
Yeah, not to his ability.
Korch and Bedard they're close. That's also, it's a big deal when you're a young kid like you got your buddy next to you, And he's got to get going. He's on a little cold streak.
He's cool with Allen, too, and Doc.
Yeah, Colton Doc, I applaud Davidson. He has been picking up some good guys, good picks, but it's time to start loading up on some NHL-ready guys, too.
Sure.
And you know what? Me and you we've said some nasty shit about Zegras, but this dude needs a change of scenery big time.
He does.
He might be beneficial to Bedard, and Bedard might be beneficial to him. The way he plays, he's a really creative playmaker, pass-first guy. He can turn Bedard into a shoot-first guy. That's what Bedard needs to be.
Bedard doesn't know what to be right now.
He's got to do whatever he's got to do.
Yeah.
But I think you get a cheap Zegras. I mean, maybe you give him a defensive prospect that's not going to make it, like a Wyatt Kaiser.
I was going to say
something.
A Wyatt Kaiser
and a second rounder,
and Anthony Nissiu, and maybe a third round pick.
Yeah.
For Trevor Zegras. It works out for everybody.
I'm sure he won't. I'm sure there's going to be playoff teams that are going to want him first. But if you make a good deal to the Ducks, they got to take it.
Right.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get the injury special at McDonald's now. Let's break it down. My favorite barbecue sauce, American cheese, crispy bacon, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun, of course. And don't forget the fries and a drink. Sound good? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating restaurants for a limited time.
What playoff teams do you think that could be interested in Zegras?
Well, I know there's the whole connection with Cole Caulfield. They're really close with Montreal, and they're pretty close. Like I think they're hunting for it. They're trying to get it, that last spot.
Yeah.
And there's a good connection with the Jack Hughes with the Devils. But according to the fourth period, the Hawks are on that list of teams that are interested in Zegras.
I will tell you that New Jersey, the last thing they need is another Hughes type of player.
Well, they're probably looking at the chemistry they had together, but like going back to Montreal, Cole Caulfield is a shooter.
Yeah,
he's like Alex DeBrincat. They fire the puck. Little guys fire the puck. Zegras would be a guy like, hey, this is a guy, I'm going to get him the puck. I'm going to be creative, shifty, create space, lure some guys away from him, and let him unload. But Bedard is going to be just like that, if not maybe better. Yeah. He's still younger, and he's got nobody. So
yeah, I mean, he's almost a point per player guy, and he's on the worst team of the NHL. I mean, I guess.
And he's had a new line mate every 3 games, and that's getting old. I would like to see Bertuzzi on that line with him because he's the best available guy we have for him. And they move him away for some reason. I don't get that. They had really good chemistry together. But if they can get a playmaker, pass first guy like Zegras, I would absolutely love that move.
You know, it's pretty unfortunate for the Canadians, man, losing Doc because, you know, they're on the hunt for that last playoff spot. And, you know, he was a big part of their future, man. And he was somebody that they were looking to take, a bigger part in that game. I think that they have him listed as like a second or third line center, but his defense is good, man. But he's just so fragile that.
It's funny because I recall a video of him whining about his role with the Blackhawks as a defensive kind of center, and crying about playing against Cale Makar or Nathan McKinnon, but he's okay with doing it in Montreal. But you know what?
Who wants to play against Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon?
I don't think
man.
Patrice Bergeron would like to play against those two. So I mean, you don't want to see the kid get hurt. I know. I feel like the kid. It's a lot. It's becoming like, geez, it's an ACL. Now it's something with.
Dude, he had his ACL and MCL surgery in the 2023 season, and now he has to have surgery on the same knee again. You know, we're looking at
some point. Yeah, it's like, is this worth it? You know, going under the knife like this all the time. He's playing in like a mecca of hockey, a hockey capital of the world. You know, it's got to be awesome, and they're up and coming. And he's never really tasted that playoff like hockey. And I was just pissed after that shootout goal against us. He's kind of taunting the crowd like, okay, if you're Patrick Kane, you could do that, but you haven't done shit to be all arrogant like that. I wasn't a fan of that, but I took a lot of heat for that on Twitter from the Frenchie faithful, and we fleeced you guys. I think Frankie Nazar is going to be a better player.
I like him already, man.
Yeah.
He hunts for the puck, man. I like his speed. I like his tenacity. And I think that he's just going to keep getting better and better with time.
Yeah, solid pickup by him. That was good. We're gonna applaud Davidson when he makes a good move tonight. He got a win. He made a trade. He cleared up $7 million worth of cap, and he brought in a clear-cut number 1 goalie. He made the team better with the trade by clearing cap, and he brought us a goalie. That's a win.
And he added a roster spot for an NHL-ready defender to
One of
move
his
up
guys.
from the AHL and come up to the big league. So he did 3 big things today.
That's a big win for him. We're going to criticize him when we don't agree. That's just
this is what we're supposed to do, man.
Yeah, we're sports fans.
If we don't see it, we're gonna call it.
We know Mikko Rantanen wasn't going to get traded here, but like I said, it's a tough pill to swallow when you're funding Carolina to go off on a run. It feels better now because he ain't doing shit.
He's doing. I didn't think that he would. I think that he's benefits from playing from two of the top three players in the NHL. I would consider Cale Makar and Nathan MacKinnon to be in the top three players in the NHL, behind only Connor McDavid.
Correct take, but I think he'd be better off being traded here because him and Bedard likely would be very good together, and I think he would probably get more production.
Sure. Than playing with Sebastian Aho.
Getting a win, getting a Stanley Cup, it's worth it. If it takes guys. It might take them some time, but they already offered him $100 million contract.
Yeah, and I think it was around 12.5, something like that.
If he's not accepting it at the deadline, I'm gonna be like, hey man, I gotta move you. I'm sorry, I can't. I tried with Jake Gensel last year. I botched it. I moved some good player. I moved Michael Bunting, who's not a bad player.
Yeah.
I moved him in a pick. Tampa ended up getting him.
For free, essentially.
Trying now with Mikko. If that's two good players, top line guys.
Yeah. Necas, they moved Necas.
Yes, and he's tearing it up.
In Colorado, so he's staying.
Marty Nietzsche, he is tearing it up. Nathan MacKinnon loves him already, too. He's already praised him like, this guy's good. And that's tough.
Yeah.
If you lose, you got to trade and get something, but we talked about this yesterday in our Tomahawk texts. They would be a laughingstock and make the Blackhawks look better.
I know, if they botch it.
All these picks that they've wasted. I mean, I applaud him for going for it, but you got to be sure, dude. I mean, you got to be like, before I'm making the trade, I'm going to listen, can I talk to him about an extension? Hey, we want to know. We got you, a month earlier to try to get this done. They're dedicated. What's his name? The GM, Tulusky or something. Goofy looking Doc Brown dude, scientist making some weird analytic crap in his science
Doc
lab.
Brown,
but
it's got his flux capacitor in the back right there.
Yeah, he's got all of his alarm clocks going off, 55 whatever gigawatts. I don't know, but he went for it, and I applaud him for that. But if you fail this, that's a tough pill to swallow, man. That's going to be very tough on that organization. You gave up a first-round pick. You gave up a really good player. I think there was rumors he wanted out anyway. He wanted a chance to go do something somewhere else, and it's working in Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure those Colorado Avalanche fans were so bummed at this trade, but they're like, we did okay.
You know what?
We're good. This guy's making $6 million.
Yeah.
$6 million opposed to... Yeah, exactly. But... I don't know. I don't think Mikko's I don't think he wants to stay. What do you do?
It's a completely different place, completely different situation. Yeah, it's more money, but, he's having a hard time producing, number one. Yeah. Number two, if as the GM, you put out a contract extension, the biggest contract that you've ever offered a player.
That's big for them. It's huge.
Huge for them. And he's not he's reluctant to sign it. That's a huge problem, man.
Yeah, I know they had face-to-face meetings with the agent during the Four Nations. They're trying to get it done. But if I'm Mikko, I'm thinking, man, I'm playing like shit here. This maybe is not for me. So
let me ask you.
Who's going to take him?
He's asking for, we're going to say between 12.5 and 14 million, okay? Who in their right mind is going to pay $14 million for a guy who went to a new team, can't produce because he's not playing with Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar, and went to the Four Nations playing with the best players from his own country, and he can't produce with that either? Who wants to pay that for him? In all honesty, I think that we should stay far away from this dude because
I agree.
We might be getting a guy. Let's just say we get him for $10 million, okay? For $10 million, who can't produce. It's essentially adding a contract that we don't need for $10 million on the cap?
Well, I think it's like you're just signing to sign a guy. You know what I mean? Just to make a splash. And I mean, the rumors I've heard were Rantanen's agent was playing hardball, like with Colorado. He's like, we want 14, and the Avalanche were like, there's no way. He's like, there's no way we're going to do that. And they went like the next day, he's gone. And the agent was like, whoa, wait, this is just where we're starting, you know? And that's why we heard all that stuff. Like,
yeah,
I would have took under 13, and it's like, well, why are you effing around with the organization? I mean, they're two top studs. You're not going to get more than them. So,
and Makar is due a pay raise in 2 years.
He shot himself in the foot. I really he hurt himself.
There's no way that Rantanen is making more than Nathan McKinnon, number one, which is like $12.7 million. And there's no way that they're going to put him on a contract that they have to pay Cale Makar that money too.
No, you can't pay three guys like big bucks like that. It's just it's really hard, and it's going to kill your depth. Like look at Toronto with JT 91. He's making 12, and then you got Matthews at his hit. You got Nylander, who's getting paid big bucks, and now Mitch. There's rumors Mitch is going to test free agency.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, and I've been a fan of this guy for a while. I don't know why he gets all the heat, because it's the whole team. The whole team is just.
It is.
I don't know what it is, but when it's playoff time, they like shit the bed, and they realize, well, it's going to be more physical. It's different hockey. It's not run and gun smiling with Justin Bieber during the season. It's tough.
Yeah.
So they got to buckle down. I think they brought in the right coach. I like Craig Berube. He is a no-nonsense enforcer in his day. He holds you accountable. He wants you to – he's been there. He's won with St. Louis. When they were in the freaking basement in December, he got them to the top of the mountain. I think it's good for him, but – losing Mitch, that's going to hurt them. And if he's available, I don't want to see Davidson throw out a 7-year deal. But he might have to lure a guy like that, because they want – hockey players love term. They love the term and the security, you know. But
all right,
you're going to overpay him.
Let me throw these two scenarios at you. Mitch Marner, Chicago Blackhawks, 12-year deal, $12.5 million. Or
how long?
Mitch, for 7 years.
Okay, the max. Okay.
12.5.
Okay.
You know what? I'll even go. Let's say $13 million, because
with the cap going up. Yeah.
That's Austin Matthews money. Okay, so we'll say $13 million for 7 years, or $15 million for 4 years.
I'm going 4 years for 15.
I would too.
It's okay.
We gets his money.
We got space opened up with the trade tonight, and it doesn't hurt. I'm fine with that.
Let me look up his age really quick.
He's going to be 28.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get the Angel Reese special at McDonald's now. Let's break it down. My favorite barbecue sauce, American cheese, crispy bacon, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun, of course. And don't forget the fries and a drink. Sound good? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating restaurants for a limited time.
20. Okay,
or
so
28 or 29.
So 4 years. Let's say he's 28. Okay, just
you're going to get 4 good years with Mitch. If you give him
prime.
7, you're going to get 4.5 maybe.
You're going to pay 12. You're going to pay top dollar for his prime, which is what he wants. Now, let's say in that 32, he's 32. Let's say his production drops a little bit. You could say, hey, man, your production is dropping. You're getting older. 12.5 for another 3. He's like, and that takes him to 35.
I think after the 4 years, he would probably test somewhere else if we haven't won yet.
Yeah.
Which is realistically we might not, but I'm fine with. I like the shorter term deals. I think it's smart for the team and smart for the player. I think it's win-win for both of them. Honestly, you can get double the pay, and with the cap going up, you can, like, if you have a good contract, like if you're in your tenure, you can get more.
Yeah.
Like Stamkos did that. His first contract, he bet on himself. I think it was like a 6-year. I want to say like $8 million or something. Then he did the same thing again, and then he ended up winning 2 cups with him.
Yeah.
So it's not working out now in Nashville, but I mean, realistically, the Bolts made the right move. And
yeah, I think that they did.
The
too.
loyalty, maybe wasn't there, but it's like, hey, you get hurt a lot, and digging into that hole. But I'm a fan of the 4 years. I can even swallow a 5-year with him. With
5
Mitch.
year at $15 million.
Maybe a little bit less, like 14.5. But we got space now. Now you got rid of the biggest term we've had, the 9.5. Maybe think about Connor is probably going to be around there, 9.5, 10, 11. You know he's going to cash out. So, but we got the hits, man. We got the space.
That's interesting. That's interesting because I wanted to get into that because Connor is getting an extension this summer.
You think so?
He is.
July 1st, do you think he's going to sign a deal? You'd hope so.
Well, it depends if the 2 things. If Davidson comes to the table and he says, "Here's your contract. Why don't you go ahead and fill out the compensation package that you want there? I'll sign it. We're done."
Yeah.
Or is it going to be like, "Okay, kid, how much do you want?" You know, it could be 2 things. Now, let me ask you something. What is Bedard worth? Because in the NHL, if you are a point per game player, those guys are making, as of right now, between the 8.5 to 10 million range. Okay. Cap is going up significantly this year. In 3 years, it will be up significant by another 25 million what it is right now. So if Bedard is like, you know what, the cap is going up, I want to get paid. Is he going to take a shorter term contract? He's like, I want to do a bridge deal, 12.5 for 3 years.
Well,
now what that does, that's not good for Davidson. Okay?
No.
Davidson wants Bedard to sign for 8 years, and hell, if he has to pay him maybe 13 million, 12.5 million for it, he'll do it. Because Bedard is essentially saying, if he wants to take a 3-year deal, if you don't have a playoff-ready team for me in 3 years, I'm gone.
Yeah, that's scary then. You don't want to hear that, but I don't know if Bedard is going to sign that extension until he sees what Davidson's going to do July 1st. If he can land the big fish, that's going to help. I think tonight absolutely helped too. We got rid of a guy that's saying, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. You don't want a guy like that in the locker room.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win.
It causes a ton of problems.
It does. And you know what?
It caused a ton of problems, and Davidson took care of that problem. Well, and then a couple days ago, Seth Jones was talking to the media, and they took care of that within 2 days. They're like, we got to get this guy out of here.
It hurts. It's not good for the young guys to see, like, okay, I'm going to bitch and whine and I'm not gonna give it my all out there. Like he's not checked in. So
yeah,
I think Bedard is worth. If you can get him at $9 million at 8 years, Davidson could take a victory lap with a Zamboni all over the city all at once because that's a Jack Hughes like deal.
It is,
and I like that. But agents are smarter, kids are smarter. They know the cap's going up. He's probably going to be double digits. If you get him for 7 years, that's a win. If you get him, if it's 3 years, this kid is sick of the losing, and he's like, no, it's time to get going here, and that's a little scary, because I think he would still be a restricted free agent. We still own his rights. We can make a deal happen. You don't want to see this kid walk.
Yeah.
Realistically, so he's going to be 20 next year, right?
Right.
If he signs
he's going to be 20 in, I think, July or August.
Even if he did take the 8-year deal, he's going to cash in again at 28. He came in right when he was 18. He's got a late birthday. This kid's going to get big bucks his first deal, and then the next deal he'll probably get even more.
Yeah.
And eventually the last maybe 3 years he's going to drop off, but the sky's the limit for this kid. Get him some help. The defense is kind of coming along. I'm really happy with
In all
the
honesty,
defense.
the defense it is
Just needs
taking
experience.
steps forward. It is taking steps forward every single year. I don't think that we have to worry about that right now.
No.
Kyle Davidson had just taken care of one of the biggest needs, probably the toughest position to address in the NHL is the goalie position, because you don't know how good guys are going to be.
Here's what we don't know. How many years left does Spencer have? I'm not sure.
I could have sworn he signed a 5-year, $6 million deal. Let me double check.
So yes, like you said, and I've probably oversaid this. Goaltending, goalies take time. Goalies take a lot of time. Our guys, Comesso is probably not close. Goalies need like 3 years in the minors, some of them.
Yeah.
And like, look at Corey Crawford. No shame in that. He ended up winning 2 cups and was a huge part of the team.
Oh, so here we go. Spencer Knight, he's got a $4.5 million cap hit. His contract ends next year.
Okay,
So we have him for the 2025-26 season.
Good.
And then it's time to re-up him.
How old is he?
He's 25.
Okay, so we own him until he's a free agent, which is, I believe, want to say 26 or I think it's 26. So we can get another good deal out of him.
No,
hopefully.
he's 23.
Okay, that's even better.
His contract expires when he's 25.
That's even better. That's a good age. I love the age. Those are the kind of players, like we talked about Zegras. These are the guys. I think Zegras and him actually played on the USA developmental team. So
Oh, really?
I like that.
God, man, the USA development team
Yep.
is pumping out studs, man.
He was great in that World Juniors that year he got drafted. Dale picked him,
Yeah.
I think, around the 20th pick might have been. He was one of the first goalies to go in the first round. Maybe the only goalie to go in the first round. But, I mean, I remember watching that draft and Dale picking him. I'm like, ooh, I would have loved to get a guy like him. But that's a big deal. Goalie, like I said, again, goalies, they take time. This kid is ready to rock. And then that gives us more time with our guys. Comesso, there's no rush now. Give Soderblom another deal. I like that tandem for next year.
Yeah.
And we also signed that kid from the Jets. He's supposed to be a good goalie. Bersois.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing with this guy?
Yeah.
He's got another year, I think. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have 3 goalies. So you got to think Mrazek's outie.
I don't think that they were expecting him to be out as long as he's been, because I think that his recovery has taken a couple setbacks.
Well, and you didn't think Seth Jones was gonna, start complaining, and you didn't think Spencer Knight would be the guy we traded for.
In all honesty, man, I think that when we traded Boquist for Seth Jones, I thought it was a complete steal.
It still was a steal. We still fleeced them. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Boquist is playing like on the Islanders now.
No. Yeah, but he was with Florida. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Boquist and Seth Jones on the same. They ended up waiving him, and I think they waived him, and the Isles claimed him.
Yeah.
So that's a win. It was a win. Obviously, the salary. We had space. We had space at times, and you got to pay. You got to pay to get guys like that. So
Sure.
Hopefully that's a good lesson for Davidson from the previous GM. Like, hey, if guys are older, don't go for it, because it's hard. Look, Pittsburgh's going through it, dude.
Oh,
They're going through it,
dude. They're going through it heavy, dude. They've got heavy COVID with that right now, man.
Well, you brought in Carlson when you had a perfectly
they want to
good
move him,
Chris
but they
Letang.
can't. They can't. They want to move him, but they can't. It's impossible. It's impossible to move Erik Karlsson with that contract.
Even with salary retained, it's going to be tough.
Even if they take half, what's he going to do for you?
Let me ask you this. Colorado calls Kyle Dubas. Hey, we got a first-round pick from Carolina. What do you think about Sid? Can we get him?
No.
You can't.
They won't.
You
He
can't.
won't go because
He'll
Sid
get
has...
killed on the streets of Pittsburgh if he trades Sidney Crosby. And Sidney Crosby, he has to say, yeah, I'll prove it.
Yeah.
And I don't think he would. It's too loyal.
Yeah.
And same with Ovi. I can't see Ovi in another uniform ever.
No.
And that motherfucker.
That should have been Kane with the Blackhawks, man.
Yep. I did not like that with Davidson. And I know it's management. I would have liked to see more fight from him.
I don't think that it was him.
It wasn't.
Him.
I don't think it was. But I'd like to see him defend himself and say, hey, I did everything I could to bring this guy back. It's just that we can't make it work. Say something like that. We're going to turn the page on this guy. Why? Why would we do that? I mean, I think he's playing tonight at that outdoor game, Detroit and Columbus. It was a good game. I was listening to Pat Foley and Eddie Olczyk on Sirius XM. Good to hear them again together. It was pretty cool. I don't know who won because we started this, but Kaner had like 2 assists already in the game. So the dude's still a factor.
Gosh,
That's what
man.
sucks, you know?
It hurts, dude. Really, it hurts. Every assist he gets, every goal he gets, it should have been in a Blackhawks sweater.
And DeBrincat, I think he got 2 goals at the time. So he showed up. I get it. You got to move to... You got to move guys to get picks and kind of build your team. Like, hey, I'm starting over. I hated losing Brandon Hagel because I saw a lot in that kid, and I think that's what set Taser over the edge because Taser saw it too. Like, this kid's hustle. He's a motor man, He's a Swiss Army knife. He'll do whatever it takes. Look at the Four Nations. The dude is fighting Matthew Tkachuk. Even in Tampa. $6 million he signed for the next 20,000 years, but dude's getting like multi-point games, big goals. It's hard to see, and it's like it makes you wonder, like, oh yeah, well we won't get Bedard. We still might have gotten Bedard if we kept Hagel because we were still terrible. So you never know. It's a lottery.
Yeah,
you never know. If you finish last and you're guaranteed the first pick, okay, I understand, but it's a lottery, dude. It's all luck. So. But I'm happy about tonight, dude. I'm really happy. I poured me a glass of whiskey. I'm a goalie guy. I've always been a goalie guy and always been a fan of Spencer Knight. Ever since he stepped up when Bob didn't show up that playoff series against Tampa. This kid went right in there steady, gets him a win, keeps him alive. I was like, this is a guy I would love to see in net. And the first thing I did, actually, I went to Yahoo Fantasy. I dropped that useless piece of shit Jake Allen, and I claimed Spencer Knight because I know this guy is going to get us some wins. I know it's going to be a little rough still, but he's going to get me some wins, hopefully. And hopefully this pleases Bedard. Like, okay, this guy.
They're doing something.
He's got me a goalie. Get me a top-line wing now. Please, anything.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see it done. If it's done at this trade deadline, I'd like to see Donato gone. I'd like to see Murphy gone. I'd like to see Kurashev gone. Move what you can. Get assets. Bring in a Trevor Zegras. Go for it. I love today. He went for it. Zegras ain't worth a first-round pick. Give him a second-round pick this year. Say, get Zegras on the top line with Bedard. Get him going. Get a preview for next season. I'd love that. He showed he has balls today, and that's something you needed because he's losing a lot of fans.
Yeah.
Like, people are pissed and impatient. I know, it's a rebuild.
Yeah.
People tell me, calm down, it's a rebuild. No shit. I know, but it's still frustrating. And even Seth Jones was not wrong for what he said after the game.
Yeah.
We are not improving. He was right about that. We aren't.
Yeah.
We're taking steps back. So I like this today. Let's keep doing it. Keep the foot on the gas and get another guy.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get the injury special at McDonald's now. Let's break it down. My favorite barbecue sauce, American cheese, crispy bacon, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun, of course. And don't forget the fries and a drink. Sound good? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating restaurants for a limited time.
So, I'm not really happy. I wouldn't say not happy, but I'm not impressed with the free agent class this year. So, do you think that we should address some holes by trade?
You know what? I was really pumping the Elias Pettersson, but look what's going on with him. It's almost like a Mikko Rantanen thing.
Is.
Like, what the hell is going on, dude?
It's like a Mikko Rantanen thing, and he hasn't been moved.
But they moved the guy that was giving you so-called problems. JT Miller, he's been a stud.
Yeah,
and
he's got 9 points in 5 games there.
We moved this guy because you guys weren't getting along, and you're younger, and we want you to kind of step up here. And I don't know what the hell's going on. I hope he wakes up, but I wouldn't trade for him now. Like, no way. No way. It's a good cap hit, but still, shit, he's surrounded by better players than Chicago guys.
Yeah.
And he's still not getting it done. He's got a stud behind him, probably the best American defenseman we're going to see ever. Quinn Hughes is captain. He's probably on the ice with him a lot. He's got, Brock Besser playing with. He's got good. That team's good. There's no reason they should be that bad. But
yeah,
I think they traded the wrong guy. Maybe.
Yeah.
Looking at this, wow.
Well, they're probably thinking JT Miller's older.
Yeah, but that dude he was dedicated. He's tough on his teammates. He's tough. Yeah, but you like those guys. He supports you. He wants you to. He's trying to get. He'd be a good coach one day. He's trying to get the best game out of you.
Yeah.
But some guys are soft. Pettersson seems softer.
I don't think these younger guys can take the aggressive coaching type of
even
coaching
player
from guys.
The hard-nosed player,
yeah.
You think these guys could survive with the likes of Keenan and Chelios on the bench? Even Mark Messier, hey, if you're gonna play like that, I'm gonna kick your ass myself. Let's go. It was so different. And you see guys that are out there like Jack Hughes and the Four Nations not going near the boards. I'd be like, if you don't go and get me that puck, I'm gonna hit you after they hit you. I was pissed watching him because he's such a phenomenal talent.
Yeah,
but he played so scared.
It would have been suicide for him, man. Yeah. It was too much.
Bedard would have got his head taken off that game. Brady Tkachuk would have literally decapitated him.
It would have been too much for those type of guys.
Well, speaking of this,
Jack Hughes was scared.
If Brady Tkachuk's available, there was rumors the Rangers were trying to get him, but they went with JT Miller instead, which I think was a mistake. If Brady's available, I'm throwing the first round pick this year at him and a prospect. I'm getting a little crazy NHL trades here. We're on a roll here, but this is a dude that's a heart and soul guy, a true leader.
Your captain.
You got to throw the C on him right away. Absolutely. And he'll play top. He'll be the first line center, and you're going to move Bedard to the wing, which I think is better. Well, even though he's better on the dot. But
I thought that Tkachuk was a winger. I thought he was a left winger.
I think Brady's center. Actually, he played on the wing with Eichel and his brother. So
yeah.
I think he could play center though.
Okay.
But either way, you want to put him on the wing and let Bedard take the draws and the defensive responsibilities. Fine. But that dude's a heart and soul guy, and no one's going to fuck with anybody with that guy on the team. He's a maniac. His own dad calls him a lunatic. So
yeah, he is.
If that guy's available, Davidson pulls that trade off, that dude can, like I said, bust out those nuts and walk around the city all you want because good for you, dude.
Yeah. Okay, so they're probably going to want more. They're going to want a player. They're going to want a first-round pick.
So be it.
Wyatt Kaiser. Probably Reichel.
So be it.
A first-round pick.
So be it.
Yeah.
Take Mrazek while you're at it. They're going for it too. That team is in the hunt. Boston shit the bed. But... New York shit the bed. That our predictions are shot. At the beginning of the year, I thought the Rangers would be clear-cut number 1 and the Bruins 2, fighting for 1. and they're out of the playoffs. It's Detroit and the teams we talked about. Buffalo has to step up, Detroit has to step up, and Ottawa. 2 out of the 3 have. Buffalo is still shitting the bed. But if Brady is available, like, hey, we're not going to re-sign this guy. Even if it's next year, I don't know when his contract's up, but if...
Let me look it up.
I would absolutely, hey, we like Brady. What do you want? You can, anybody but Bedard and Vlasic probably, I would say, you're not touching. Possibly Nazar too. I'm not.
I wouldn't give up Nazar.
No, I
I
don't
wouldn't
wanna
give
move
up
on from him for
Korchinski.
an
I
older-
wouldn't give up Allen either.
No, it would be a Reichel. It would be a top prospect, like maybe an Oliver Moore, I'm guessing.
Oh,
Which is fine because it's just fool's gold right now, dude. We don't know. You never know.
That's true. So Tkachuk is 25 years old right now, which is perfect. And his contract goes until the 2027-2028 year.
Okay.
So the 2028-2029 season is when his contract expires.
I don't know why they'd want to move on from him, and I don't know why his name is in the trade rumors. It could be all just BS, but that dude is a heart and soul player. If you can get him, that's a huge win. Any team would kill to have him.
Trending players right now on the website are Seth Jones, Spencer Knight, Sergei Bobrovsky, Patrick Kane.
Kaner had a great game, it sounds like, at that outdoor game.
Oh, dude, Calvin DeHaan got traded. Can you believe this guy is still in the league?
Yeah, he was with Colorado, right? Who did they trade him for?
Hold on, let me look that up. I mentioned it on Twitter earlier.
Maybe they're setting up for something, dude. Clearing some cap space.
Let's see here. It was news. Let's see here. Hearing Avalanche and Rangers. Yeah, it was to the Rangers. Oh, yeah, here we go. The Rangers traded Ryan Lindgren and Jimmy Vesey to the Avalanche for Husso Parssinen and Calvin DeHaan.
Wow. Ryan Lindgren, I know our buddies at the Broadway, 30 on Broadway, they hated that guy, Lindgren. They called him the traffic cone, I think.
Which is essentially what Calvin DeHaan is right now.
Yeah, I remember we got him. He didn't do shit for us either.
Nothing.
Yeah, that was a Bowman go-for-it type of move, I believe. And
yeah. And Jimmy Vesey, man, he's another Hobie. He won the Hobie Breaker, I think, and I told you.
Yeah.
He's not going to do shit.
Yeah. We went over that list, remember? Eichel was like the best guy, and Johnny Hockey maybe, I think.
Yeah.
That was it, yeah.
Oh, Cale Makar.
And Cale, obviously, yeah. Cale, yeah. We went down the list, I think it was like 4 out of the last 20 were legit guys, you know?
So I essentially mentioned it on earlier, but I might as well go over it. In the 2017 NHL entry draft, Nico Hischier went number 1. Nolan Patrick, who isn't even in the league anymore, went number 2. Miro Heiskanen went number 3 with Dallas.
He's still there, right?
Yeah. And Cale Makar went number 4. So here's the thing. Get this. Dallas, they drafted Heiskanen in the first round, and then they drafted Ottinger late in the first round.
Wow. Jimmy Nill. Stealing.
Those are pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty good.
That's a good pick.
That's a good run.
Yeah.
But can you believe that New Jersey picked Hischier over Cale Makar? I mean, Hischier's only scored 30 goals one time.
I think Cale Makar did too, and he's playing on the back end.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Kirby Doc year. You got Jack Hughes, Kirby Doc, and then Bo Byram went 4, and then Mo Seider goes like 12th or
yeah.
It's like what the hell? Who's it? And then Vlasic. Vlasic went like 144th or something or whatever it was.
Yeah,
so
let me look that up.
Just it's crazy, man. It's crazy the misses.
Jack Hughes draft year. Draft class. All right, let's see here. Jack Hughes could barely speak English, so that might have worked out.
Those interviews were great.
Let's see. Jack Hughes, number 1. Capo Caco, number 2.
Yeah, and he's doing well. Since that trade, he's doing well.
Kirby Doc went number 3. Bo Byram went number 4. Alex Turcotte, number 5. Mo Seider went number 6.
Ooh, okay. He went
Dylan
6.
Cousins, number 7. Philip Broberg, number 8. Trevor Zegras, number 9. Matt Boldy went 12. Spencer Knight went 13th.
13, Dale Talon, Florida Panthers. Wow.
Yeah.
Good for him. That's smart, and it's weird to think like I'm picking up a goalie after I just signed a Russian dude for 10 years.
10 million.
Yeah. Well,
Alex Vlasic went 43.
43. Yeah, I was
wow.
Okay, I was 100 off. But
wow.
How about that story I sent you on Friday about Dougie Gilmour and the Brett Hall saga? Back a little history. Hawks
I didn't know that,
take.
man.
Yeah, I remember you're sending me a cool Brett Hall take with Pavel Datsyuk. And I remember hearing about it. I know, I forget what year it was that we signed him, but the Hawks were in the running, the top team to get Brett Hall that year. It had to be 96 maybe or 97 because
that's when everybody was gone.
So we had Tony Amani still, and maybe that connection with Tony Amani and
Team USA.
Brett Hall was good, and Brett Hall said that was his top pick, and according to the stories, Bobby was pushing it as well, like, hey, bring the Hall boys back to the Windy City type of thing. And last minute, the Hawks pull out, and we're going to go with Dougie Gilmour for $1 million extra. And it's like, what?
What?
Brett Hall goes to Dallas and hoists the
Wins
cup
the cup.
in 99. Game-winning goal against Dominik Hasek, another former Hawk.
Yeah.
That's just a what-if story, you know? Like,
Yeah.
holy shit, what if we had Brett Hall? Maybe he wasn't in his prime, but the dude could still... Unbelievable shot.
Well,
Him and
and part of the
Amani.
story was he came to the bench. He was playing for Detroit at the time, pissed. And he told Datsyuk, he's like, pass me the puck, man. And Datsyuk was like, you were covered. And he's like, I've scored 400 goals covered.
Yeah, he's a legend, dude.
He is, dude.
I couldn't imagine, like, if you landed Brett Hall, Tony Amani, that's a solid 1-2 guys, you know, and
I would have had to get his jersey.
oh, for sure, I'd get that jersey. And wouldn't it be cool? Like Bobby's like, you know what? Bring my number 9 down. I'm gonna let Brett wear it.
Oh,
you know?
my God.
What if, you know?
But
like,
that wasn't his number. 16 was
16,
his number.
yeah. But it'd be sweet. And that was actually Bobby Hall's first number. I have a signed picture
Yeah,
of
it
Bobby
was.
Hall 16.
Yeah,
But-
that's for trivia for you folks.
Yeah.
When someone asks you what numbers did Bobby Hall wear for the Chicago Blackhawks, he wore 16 and 9.
16 and 9. And here's another trivia for you. Jeremy Roenick's first game played on the Blackhawks, I don't remember the number, but he did not have a name on the back because they couldn't get a name on there in time. They called him up
Really?
and he had to go. Yeah. Pretty cool.
didn't
And
know
he
that.
actually scored, too, that game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Another cool one. But it's like you go back and you think, okay, what if we kept Chelly, we kept Roenick, we brought in Brett Hall, we have Amani, Steve Smith, Gary Suter, bottom 6 guys. Dude, the Hawks are like, they're the
Eric
Red Wings.
Weinrich.
We're the Red Wings. The Red Wings wouldn't be like, oh, yeah, 25 years in the playoffs. That would be us. Probably with more cups, too. But, you know.
Yeah, but you forget they still had Brendan Shanahan, Steve Yzerman.
Don't care. Don't care. Go ahead, throw your Fedorov
Sergei
at
Fedorov.
me. I'll raise you a Ronick. And then you can
Fedorov
throw
was
your
a monster,
Nicholas
dude.
Lindstrom, and I'm going to throw you a Chelly, a prime Chelly. God, it would have been great, dude. It would have been awesome. Eddie Belfour in net, better than any goalie in Detroit. Don't care. I just can't. God, it's like the old man just could not.
He couldn't get out of his own way, man.
God. And then it seems like Danny is somewhat like that.
You think so? Like
I
his
think he
grandfather?
means well, but like I feel like he does shit like his grandpa would be like, "Oh, I'm proud of you, grandson." You know, like Rocky was different, and look
Yeah,
what
he was.
3 cups, games on TV. If you think about it, dude, people our age, there's a whole generation of people that never watched a hockey game like our age,
Yeah.
because of Bill Wirtz in this
Yeah.
city. They didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, we have a hockey team. Yeah,
Yeah.
we do. They're not on TV, but
They only play 40 games a year for
yeah.
you to view.
You can watch them wear red because you can't.
Yeah.
You know, they wear white at home and they don't play home games. But That is just the stupidest shit I've ever heard. I still what? We're not putting home games on TV? Why? Because I want you to go. Okay, everybody can't go all the time. You know,
right?
Like, really?
I'm 9. I can't.
Yeah, I can't drive, Mr. Wirtz. Can you send the limo over? I'll gladly come. Yeah.
Well, all right, everybody. That's all that we got for you on this one. Thank you very much for tuning in on X and on YouTube. We really, really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great Saturday. The Hawks are still playing. What's the score? It's 0-0 against Anaheim, so we can get a look at Zegras tonight.
He's suspended.
Is he?
Oglethorpe suspended. Oh, that's him.
All right, everybody. That's all that we got for you. We'll see you on the next one. This is the Tomahawk. We're out of here.
Get the Angel Reese special at McDonald's now. Let's break it down. My favorite barbecue sauce, American cheese, crispy bacon, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun, of course. And don't forget the fries and a drink. Sound good? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating restaurants for a limited time.